This conference
However,
will now be recorded.
However, in accordance with the emergency order, this is to confirm that A, we are providing public access to the meeting by telephone. Members of the public wishing to attend this meeting electronically may call the following conference call number at 1-866-899-4679. The access code is 817-026-717, followed by the pound sign. When prompted, just hit the pound sign again for the audio. B, public access by video or other electronic means will be available as follows. We are using the GoToMeeting platform for this electronic meeting. All members of the board have the ability to communicate contemporaneously during this meeting through this platform, and the public has access to contemporaneously listen and, if necessary, participate remotely using your smartphone, tablet, or computer at global.gotomeet.me/town of Tilton/selectmen. This information can also be found on our website at tiltonnh.org under Meeting Schedule and Agendas, under Board of Selectmen. C, we are providing public notice of the meeting and the necessary information for accessing it. We previously gave notice to the public of how to access the meeting via telephone conference and by GoToMeeting, and instructions are provided on the town website at tiltonnh.org and at the town kiosk. D, we are providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting that a member of the public wishes to speak or be recognized during any public comment or public hearing. So if you're a member of the public listening in and have questions, please write those questions down. And at the end of each agenda item, I will ask if there are any questions from the public before we move on to the next agenda item. E, we are providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there's a problem with access. If anybody has a problem, please email web@tiltonnh.org, which will be monitored during the meeting. F, we will adjourn the meeting if the public is unable to access the meeting. Please note that all got lost. Okay, here we go. Please note that all votes that are taken during the meeting shall be done by roll call vote. Let's start the meeting by taking a roll call attendance. When each member states their presence, also please state whether there's anyone in the room with you during this meeting, which is required under the right to know law. Constantino.
Constantino is present, and there's one home right now somewhere in the building.
Fogg. Fogg.
Fogg present, 2 in the house. My internet's wonky, so I may be slow getting back to you.
Okay, thank you, Peter. I'm here. There's somebody on the property, but nowhere that I can see him, so I'm by myself. Pyra.
Pyra's here. I'm in a room by myself, but there are 4 other people in the house.
Thank you. Scanlon.
I am here by myself, and for the time being.
Okay, thank you very much, John. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, then. Thank you ever so much. The first order of business.
Mr. Chairman, do we have the public online?
Do we have any? I don't know. Do we?
I think
No,
it's
we-
2 more people.
There's several.
Mr. Chair, Chief's on the phone.
Okay, thank you, Chief.
You're
Is there
welcome.
anybody else out there? Okay, hearing from nobody. The first order of business is to review the June 4th Selectmen's minutes. Gail sent them out already. I would make a motion to bring them to the floor for discussion. Is there a second?
Second, Scanlon.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
I haven't had.
Is there any
I have not had a chance
discussion?
to read them.
Excuse, you didn't read them?
I have had not had a chance to read them, Joe. No.
Okay, then let's table without anybody having a negative. Let's table those to the next meeting. Give Pat a chance to read them. Okay, hearing no objection. Our next agenda items are the Selectmen's reports, and I would like to start out with Selectman Scanlon.
I don't really have anything to say. I see that they are prepared to put the flags up. I'm pretty excited about it. Kevin has marked the poles all through town. So, and I apologize if that was part of Jeannie's report. I didn't get a chance to read her report yet, but I am excited about that. It's going to be beautiful and just in time for the 4th of July.
All right. Thank you very
Thanks.
much, John. How about you, Pat?
I got a couple of things, and I apologize ahead of time if it's on Jeannie's report, so I have not had a chance to even read her report. Today we got the van back from, I don't really know how to, back from Kelly. Can I, become the presenter? I can't share. I was going to share that, the picture. Can you share the picture, Jeannie? Hold on a minute. While we get that up. Whoops. Okay, I just sent it to you. All right, so while she's getting the pictures, Kelly said clear the sign shop so graciously donated all of her time and materials and her expertise on putting all the logo on the senior center van. We got that back today. It absolutely looks beautiful. We can't wait to get out there and get running. I asked today with Cindy Clarenbach about opening the senior center, and Cap is not quite ready to open the senior center yet. She has talked with somebody at town hall, and I'm not sure who that is. I'm not privy to that conversation. There you go. There's one side of the van with the logo, the telephone number, senior center, and then the
Nice.
middle on the top it says Tilton Senior Center. Did a great job, really great job.
Nice.
So I don't quite know who Cindy has talked about, so I don't know what the parameters are of reopening the senior center. So maybe perhaps we can talk about that, because we have the Wednesday night music group that's really anxious to get back, and also, and there's the back of it too. So I don't know if you want to put this to later, or I don't know if Jeannie's got this on her list or not, but we need to talk about reopening the senior center.
The opening of town buildings is on the agenda for tonight.
Okay. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about also was opening of the concert series, because Allison had contacted me. So if that's on the agenda later, I'll wait.
It is.
Okay. And then New Franklin Apartments, there was an issue there. I was contacted by a resident in New Franklin Apartments, and I contacted Jeannie. Jeannie and I will be working on that issue, hopefully. And then Polly's contacted me to find out if they could have outdoor seating, and I asked them to send an email to the board, and I believe that came in. I forwarded that quickly to Jeannie because he only forwarded it to the Board of Selectmen to ask if he could continue the outdoor seating. Did everyone see that email?
I did. My understanding is that the sidewalk part of the seating was still not in compliance with the governor's order. Is that true?
That is correct. As you saw from the email that I sent you, the Bureau of Public Health came down and reviewed everything and advised the owner that the sidewalk seating was not in compliance, nor was the fact that people were inside the restaurant was not in compliance.
So Monday, the issue of them being inside the restaurant will be taken care of. What was the issue again that was not in compliance? Was it the measurement between the seating, the two tables, or what was the issue? I can't recall.
Yes, it was because they weren't maintaining the 6-foot distance. And in terms of the inside seating, just to be clear, they've opened it up, but you still have to maintain distancing inside. My
Right,
understanding.
which is why they're asking for the outside seating, because there's, number one, there's customers that still would prefer the outside seating because the COVID issue is not really ended, and they would prefer the outdoor seating to the inside seating. And even because it's such a small building, having to go along with the 6-foot seating, that cuts their table issues down by less than 50%. So they are able to open 100% in the county. Our county is able to open 100%, but being 6 feet apart, as you know, that limits them a great deal to how many tables that they can have in there. So they want to continue the tables on the sidewalk in their parking lot up on 1231.
You're
Joe,
muted. You're
Joe,
muted, Joe. You're
can't hear
muted.
you.
Joe, you're muted.
Okay, that's why nobody was listening to me. Okay, what I said was, are there any selectmen that would like to weigh in on this issue?
Go ahead, Joe.
Selectman Scanlon.
Yes, I think it would be beneficial to help out the businesses some, but I'm a little concerned of the disputes that have been over spacing of the tables outside, in particular, that possibly before they do that, that they could take some chalk or something and put a mark on the sidewalk so everybody's agreeable before it's approved, and then let them go as long as everybody's on the same page.
Thank you, John. Selectman Pyra.
There's a part of me that says there's been a whole bunch of issues going on, and there's a part of me that says take away the outside sidewalk seating and just use their tent. This way, it eliminates any more potential conflict because obviously their tape measure is different size than someone else's tape measure. And it takes, I know the health officer no longer has responsibility with this issue, but just, just a thought.
Okay, thank you, John. Eric, I'll be all right. How about you, Peter?
After the 15th, I think they're pretty much free to go, so I have no problem with them doing the sidewalk.
So
Okay, as for me,
Okay, go ahead,
I would say they didn't cooperate very well um, with our past efforts at enforcing the ordinance and the rules, and to acquiesce and give them permission to set up on the sidewalk if they can't maintain the proper distancing. I think it'd be not a responsible thing for me to do. Is there a motion to be made?
I would like to make a motion, but before I make that motion, I would like to weigh in on this situation. I do,
Certainly.
I feel that there's been a one-sided, two-sided issue here, and I think that, uh, without, I'm trying to weigh my words here, but it's been, there's been a certain bit of defiance on one party's situation, and I think that that's been corrected. I think that having the seats out front, first of all, they're renting that tent so that they can have extra seating out in the parking lot. So, hold on one sec. My dog seems to think that barking is okay. I think that that issue has been corrected and been resolved. However, I believe that we need to support downtown. If we don't support the downtown, I think that that's a real message to the taxpayers, and I really don't want to go there. So I would make a motion to continue the seating with boundaries. I think John's idea of marking the 6 foot distance, putting tape or chalk or whatever chalk is going to wash away with rain, marking the distance, and if they're not compliant, then we do away with it. We say no.
Is there a second?
Bog, second.
We have a motion and a second. Town administrator, do you have anything else that you might throw out there?
Well, thanks for asking, Joe. I think that John's idea of marking the sidewalk is a good solution to that. I think that I don't know if it was Pat who said it, or I don't remember who said it, but just to say this, look, you mark the sidewalk, you adhere to the 6 foot distance, and if you're not in compliance, you lose. That's it. We're done. I think we had a health officer who did her best to educate. We had the public health people from New Hampshire, from the state come down and talk to them, and they didn't comply. They weren't complying. So I think what you're offering is more than reasonable, but I think they have to understand that if they get one chance at this now. They mark the 6 foot distance, and if they don't comply, no more outdoor seating. And just to be clear, the tent area is fine according to the public health folks. It's in front of on the sidewalks. That's the problem.
Can that be part of the letter that we send back to them, that make it very clear that if they're, we're going to mark it 6 feet distance, and if they're not in compliance, then we will stop that opportunity?
That's what I would recommend. I wouldn't mark it. I would have them mark it, and then I don't want to say the only way we can enforce it is to take the right away if they abuse it. I don't know. The chief is here on the call, and I don't know, because I know one of the officers came down and I mean, it went to that level that one of the officers came down and spoke to one of the owners and pretty much got the same kind of pushback. So.
Okay. Well, if there's no further comments, we have a motion and a second. And I will take a roll call vote. Constantino,
Constantino, yes.
Fogg, yes.
I will vote yes. Ira,
Ira, yes.
Scanlon.
Scanlon, yes.
Okay, there you have it. Pat, the floor is yours.
So I will send a letter based on what we just talked about.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, other than Mr. Chair, other than the concerts, and I think we're going to talk about it later, I'm okay. I'm all finished. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Selectman Fogg.
I don't know if it's tied in with Jeannie or not, but from the Parks meeting Monday night, we're looking to see when we can open the bathrooms and post them with signs that enter at your own risk, basically, and also to bring the cleaners on to do their cleaning that they've done in past years at Riverfront.
I believe that's going to be part of a wider conversation about reopening the town because the June 15th, the governor's order runs out.
Correct.
So as of June 15th. So we'll be discussing that. I know we will.
Okay. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is that it, Eric? Oh, no. I would call next on Selectman Pyra.
Calling on me?
Yeah, you.
All right. I actually have a few things. I got to experience the joy of going to Amnesty Days this past Saturday. And I noticed a couple of things. The first one, including myself, I renewed my registration to my car by mail, but I didn't have a resident sticker. But I guess the person there knew me, but there were a lot of people that didn't have resident stickers on their cars. So I'm curious to know why have resident stickers if we're not going to enforce them at the transfer station? How do we know how many people came from out of town to go use our facilities for Amnesty Days?
That's a great question, Eric. I also have information that a bucket truck was there and they unloaded numerous mercury light bulbs that were wrapped up in bundles. Now, a bucket truck pretty much denotes a company. And I was just curious about how that worked out too.
I asked about that because I happened to see it.
Oh, did you see that too?
I did because I was there twice, once for a half hour and once for an hour. And I believe Kevin allowed that person to use their bucket truck because they are also hanging up the flags on the utility poles for free. So it was kind of a exchange. There's no charge to us for the mercury light bulb, or the fluorescent light bulbs. So that's what the explanation was, but you would have to ask Kevin more details.
Okay.
I saw the truck in line. I didn't see him unloading.
We can do that, right, Jeannie? Right, Jeannie?
She's muted.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Is there anything else, Eric?
Oh, yeah, I have more.
Good.
I thought at another meeting we had asked for like a summer report like we get from the highway department from the health officer, and I don't believe I've seen that yet. So I was just curious about what the status on that request was.
I'll follow up.
Okay. And then I just saw on the highway report that there was it looks like we're checking a leak around a fire hydrant for a leak, but why are we doing that and not the water department?
I believe that I had this conversation with Kevin, and I think when they're doing the flushing, That's when he's seeing a sinkhole, and so he wanted to call them out and have them do that. They could, actually see if that's what's happening, because he thinks that's what's happening. He doesn't. That's why we're doing it.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
I just get worried that we're going to hit a line or something like that. And
No, he had Dick Safe come out.
okay. Okay.
I have one question for Eric on Eric's question about the health officer. When we had that conversation, I wasn't aware that we're asking for something more often than the quarterly report that we get.
I
Are we-
haven't. I didn't know we even got a quarterly report. I don't remember seeing anything.
Okay.
We get the quarterly report with the one with the code enforcement and also with welfare. All quarterly reports come in about the same time.
Okay.
Well, the code enforcement comes in once a week.
What was that, Jeannie?
Code enforcement comes in once a week.
We don't
Not
see
today,
that.
once a month maybe.
It's uploaded. Because it could be in your packet today, because I get one once a week, and it's uploaded. So I'm not sure why you're not seeing it.
I haven't seen it.
Because we got to find it.
You've always
You got to
had
find it and drive.
We've always had one in for code, for public works, and one for the police department, one for me. You don't see a weekly on the chief, or
Oh,
excuse me.
we do, Chief.
Yeah, let me finish. You don't see a weekly on health or welfare, or finance.
Okay, I'll be looking for that.
Well, finance, we have him in. He gives us his report verbally.
I understand that, but
He usually has print most of the weeks also.
But when is quarterly? We should have had a report in March or April for the health officer. We didn't get one.
I've never, in the time that I've been here, I've never seen one.
Oh, I've seen it, but
You
okay.
got to go back a few years, Pat.
Wow.
Okay,
Time flies.
Jeannie, will you please follow up with that?
I will.
Thank you very much. Okay, Eric, do you have anything else?
Just one more thing that it looks like. Well, I'll know more next week, but the fire district meeting will probably be moved up to the night after the Saturday after graduation, because we were going to do it at J. Jill, but now that they moved graduation back to the high school, we're working that out. But we'll have the details out next week. And that is all.
Okay, thank you very much.
So, Eric, if there's a rain date on the graduation, what happens to fire?
I don't know.
The rain date Saturday. That's the thing.
Big tent. I don't know.
Okay, well, keep us updated. I'm last but not least here. Residents who need assistance in COVID-19 related issues should dial 211. Residents with the most up-to-date resources they need from specially trained information and referral specialists. All town buildings remain closed to the public until June 15th per the governor's order, Stay at Home 2.0. But stay tuned for an update on that. For those of you who don't know, Department of Public Works is holding Amnesty Saturdays from 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. on June 13th and June 20th. Be sure to visit our website to learn more about how to participate. We received a letter in the Selectmen's office, and I would like to read it into the record now. And I'm quoting now. Dear Mayor, I live at Golden Crest, an assisted living facility. We take frequent bus rides. Because we live in Franklin, we almost always go through Tilton. I really think Tilton should get a prize for being the most beautiful town. Everyone fertilizes and mows their lawns. The houses are well kept, the yards are neat, the roads are in good condition. It's a joy to see so many caring residents. And thank you, signed Carolyn M. Diamond. On behalf of the mayor and the Board of Selectmen, I would like to thank you, Ms. Diamond, for noticing, if nothing else. Okay, to keep going here, we have an incident issue with a person who came in to pay a tax bill and couldn't pay their tax bill because they couldn't get an appointment. Or it was going to take a day, or they were dissatisfied, and there was a request for the waiving of interest. Is there anybody who knows anything about this?
I do. I I did speak
Pat?
with her, and she sent an email requesting that, but she also got an appointment with the very next day with Cindy. I think it was a miscommunication along the way, but then she sent us another email asking us to forget about waiving the interest for the day.
I saw the second email, and I saw the second email, and I was just wondering, that's the end of it, where this is taken care of, resolved?
Yes, it's all resolved. Yep. I,
Okay.
I spoke with the resident herself. Yep.
Okay. And we have received an email from a gentleman here in town about a abatement status. I don't know how to pronounce the last name, Gaza. And he was looking for information, and apparently he wasn't getting it, or he didn't know where to ask. Jeannie, did you happen to see the email, or do you know anything about this?
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it.
Okay, well, I will forward it to everyone concerned because I can't answer the gentleman's question, and perhaps somebody else can. So I will forward that on to everybody concerned. On Monday night, we had a meeting of the elections committee. There were a lot of, and I believe that you guys received Mr. Mitchell's email about items to think about. Yes, no, anybody?
Yes.
I did.
Okay, well, good. Have any of you looked at that? There's a lot of things on there, including a second voting machine, and a lot of PPE that's going to cost the town money. The voting machine alone is approximately $1,000. We have two elections coming up in the fall, September and November. And the committee didn't feel we needed one for the primary election in September, because historically it hasn't been that big a turnout, whereas the presidential one has been. We're expecting in excess of 800 absentee ballots, because pushing absentee ballots and voting absentee is a big part of the Secretary of State's push to help make this a safe election by not getting huge amounts of people congregating in one area. As far as the money that we're going to have to put out, it's not budgeted for. I spoke with the finance officer, and he says we'll find the money. He was a participant in the Monday meeting, But we're gonna, before we go out and start contracting for personal protection equipment or plexiglass Lexan barriers or a voting machine or all the rest of the stuff that comes with that, we have to have the Board of Selectmen's approval to spend the money. So we don't need a decision tonight. There's going to be another meeting next Monday night. You all are cordially invited. Any member of the public listening in are cordially invited as well. And it will be listed on the town website at 7 p.m. Monday night. And I believe we're using GoToMeeting. But the information will be on the town website, I'm sure. But be thinking about that, because we'll come up with some numbers and what we think we need. And then we as a board will have to discuss what we think they need. And hopefully they go together. But Eric, would you like to say anything about that? You were there.
Yeah. No, I think you kind of covered everything that needed to be covered. So thank you.
Jeannie,
Okay. Yeah.
Joe, Jeannie needs to say something.
Jeannie, you have a question?
No question, but I did want to point out that working with the chief, we have placed an order for PPE in preparation for the elections at 10 N95 masks, 5,000 surgical masks, 15 face shields, 10 gowns, 5,000 gloves. These were the numbers asked for by the town clerk. And according to the chief, we will be getting these free, and he got a confirmation back today that they will notify us in 72 hours when they're ready to be picked up.
Well, that certainly is good news. Thank you very much for making that happen. Thank you to the chief, certainly. And I'll get word to Mr. Mitchell. That pretty much, let me check my list here. Now, everything I got is going, everything else I've got will be covered by Jeannie. Speaking of which, town administrator, you're up.
Okay, thank you, Joe. I just want to go back to your report for a minute, the meeting that you had with the Election Safety Committee, because one other item that they talked about that I thought you were going to mention is this use of the whole gymnasium, and whether or not the high school would possibly have the dates of September 8th and November 3rd. There was something that you wanted to ask the board to have me look into, so I'm just bringing that up.
Thank you, because I omitted it from my list. Because of the distancing requirements, the committee felt that we would need the entire gymnasium in order to pull this off with social distancing. And that might not be an issue in September again, but we have to kind of plan and prepare for the biggest case scenario. People are going to want to come out and exercise their right to vote, and we have to be prepared for that. Some of that equipment may be available from the state, and thank goodness for the chief. But as far as the distancing requirements, we're formulating a plan, but Chuck and Jeannie, well, it was Chuck's idea to do this, that perhaps he and Jeannie could go and talk to the superintendent about the use of the entire gymnasium, as well as an idea was floated about having a teacher workshop day or something on that date that would get the kids and the school buses out of the area. There's a plan in place right now, although it hasn't, and I'm sure we'll hear more about this from the governor tomorrow, but there's a plan in place for outside the polling places, running the ballots out to the car type thing, and boxes out from the election place where they could drop in change of voter registrations. I haven't seen the final recommendations, but I just want you to know that this is a concern, And could we get Jeannie to go with Mr. Mitchell and talk to the superintendent of schools about what the elections are going to look like in the fall? Pat?
I agree.
Okay, Peter?
Teacher contract is usually approved in January, which would have their days off and workshops. So it's going to be tough to change it for this coming year, unless they're doing remote learning. If they're back in the classroom, it may be difficult. That's all.
Okay. How about you, Eric?
I believe that the 8th is actually the first day of school. I believe they're starting.
Oh, there you go.
I think they're starting the after Labor Day this year, but I could be wrong.
Now, as far as the issue of going to talk with the superintendent, that works for you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. How about you, John?
I'm good with that.
Okay, Jeannie, if you would please, I'll have Mr. Mitchell contact you or email you, whatever. And we'll see about putting that together.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you very much. That's the end of my report. And the town administrator is up next.
Okay. So you have my weekly update this week. This week, what I did, rather, I put all the backup from my report into your board packets, but I also sent it to you when I sent you my report. So you should have it in two places. You received the release from True Green in consideration of $18,500 as a settlement from the accident in June 2018. Tim uploaded the release for e-signature, and there's a copy, as I said, in your board packet. There's only one signature line, so I need for you to authorize the chair to sign the release.
I'll make a motion to authorize the chair to sign the release for the True Green check of the amount stated.
Constantino, second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion?
Nope.
Hearing none, roll call vote. Constantino,
Constantino, yes.
Bog, yes.
I'm a yes. Eric,
Pyra, yes.
Scanlon, yes.
John? Okay, motion is approved. Jeannie?
Thank you. First responder COVID-19 stipend program. We received all the funds, $41,014.22 and 22 cents, that cover the period of May 4th to June 30th, which is 8 weeks and 2 days at $300 a week. At an earlier selectmen's meeting, you voted to pay at the end of the coverage period, which was June 30th. And I thought that now that we actually have the funds in hand, I wondered if you'd like to revisit that and perhaps pay out half now and half at the end of the period.
Pat?
I'm fine with that. So moved.
Peter?
I'm fine with it.
John?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Eric?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Okay. Would you like to make a motion?
Constantino makes a motion that we pay half of the first respondent stipend out now and half at the end.
Bog,
Is
second.
there a second? You have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, roll call vote. Constantino?
Constantino, yes.
Bog, yes.
Jessamine, yes. Eric? Pyra?
You're still, there you go.
Pyra, yes.
Okay,
Scanlon, yes.
Scanlon. All right, the motion is approved. Jeannie?
All right, next on the agenda, new police station fundraising. We'd like to formally begin the fundraising effort for the new police station. The chief created some materials for that effort. It's in your board packet. And I'm not asking you to comment, I guess, on the details of the documents that we've been working on, but just, are you okay with this to formally start the fundraising effort?
How
I am, looks good.
about you, Peter?
I'm fine.
Okay, I am glad that we're formally beginning the effort. And how about you, Eric?
Yeah, I read it over, so yes.
Scanlon?
Yes, good.
Okay, we have a consensus.
Great.
Thank you very much. Jeannie?
Thank Paul Bowles from the Northfield Tilton Congregational Church, which is in front of the fire station here in downtown, wanted permission to park approximately 8 vehicles on Academy Street the next 2 Sundays between 10 and noon. He wants to hold outdoor services in the parking lot at the Tilton Resource Center. I sent him the guidelines for operating in COVID-19. He doesn't expect more than 20 people, and they will set up lawn chairs and maintain 6-foot distance. I asked the chief to weigh in, and he and the lieutenant preferred them to use the other municipal lots or get permission to use the aqueduct parking lot. They're concerned about creating parking issues on a narrow street. As you know, the chief is here if you wanted to hear his point of view, but I wanted to be able to get back to Mr. Bowles tomorrow so he'd know how to move forward.
Chief, would you like to speak to this, please?
Sure. So the lieutenant and I both took a look at Academy Street, and as you know, in the past, we've had some parking issues there. It gets pretty narrow in some places, especially on the crown of that hill. And so we were just worried if 8 to 10 cars were parked from the Tilton Family Resource Center, towards School Street on that side, that it would make it, maybe difficult and dangerous at the crest of the hill. So our preferred option was to see if they could use the municipal parking lot for overflow, or, the church lot itself. And so we just wanted to bring that by the board and see what the board felt.
So your recommendation is no parking on Academy Street. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, with 8 to 10 cars, we feel that, to line those up along the side of the street as it gets to the top of the hill could be dangerous once it passes the aqueduct. If it was just 1 or 2 cars, we wouldn't have a problem with it. But we think it's going to be safer if they could utilize the municipal parking, next to the fire station. So that would be my recommendation.
Okay. Is there any selectman that would like to weigh in on this? Pat?
I would like to accommodate them in any way we can, and I think that with the municipal parking lot, I think in conjunction with perhaps maybe the tack shop across the street, which is not being utilized at this time, if they get permission to do that, along with the municipal parking lot, they should have enough spaces without utilizing Academy Street.
Peter?
Yeah, in the wintertime, how many cars park on Academy Street when they're sliding down the hill there? I think in that area you could probably accommodate 4 or 5 cars. I wouldn't have them going up the hill, though. That's my thoughts.
Eric?
Yeah, I mean, I thought about the winter. The street's narrower, and people still are technically allowed to park there. I've never seen anyone chased off, but if we can get them to park elsewhere, let's get them to park elsewhere.
Okay. My feeling is that I want to accommodate the resource center, certainly, and I would offer them, if there's only 8 to 10 cars, I'm thinking that perhaps the municipal lot might hold all those people. And we have a municipal lot right beside the Family Resource Center as well. If they were to, it's not that I don't want to help out the resource center, but I have to take the recommendations of the chief of police seriously, and that's my feeling on the subject. Is
Joe?
there a motion? Yes.
If I read Jeannie's agenda or report correctly, they want to use the parking lot next to the resource center, aka the town public parking lot.
No, they want to use, they want to use the Tilton Resource Center parking lot for their service.
That's a town parking lot. At least part of it is.
Really?
Well,
Yes.
that's all of the entire parking lot is municipal parking lot.
That's what I thought.
That's
Thank
correct.
you, Pat.
Yes.
Are they talking the backside where it's near the loading dock? And I don't believe that's the town. I think
No, that's not the town.
I thought they were talking about the backside that abuts the water district.
No, I don't believe so. That belongs to the resource center.
Right.
The parking lot on the side of the resource center is the property of the town.
Right.
It's even marked as such. So I would be willing to allow them to use that on the Sunday morning. But I have to support the chief. So I don't know if there's a consensus.
We haven't heard from John yet, Joe.
Oh, my apologies to you, John. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I share like the same thing as Peter and Eric there. There is a concern. Academy Street's very narrow and causing people to kind of like drive into the other lanes is a dangerous situation. You know, maybe one or two at the bottom, but the rest of Academy Street could be very problematic, but could cause accidents, as the chief stated.
Okay. I still don't hear any consensus. Would somebody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we try to accommodate the Family Resource Center in allowing them to park at the municipal parking area for use of their services on Sunday morning. And ask them not to park on the Academy Street.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any conversation, discussion?
We can also reach out to them in across from T-Hop where the real estate business is right next across from the railroad tracks. That could be available to them as well.
That would totally make sense.
Right.
that's a private lot owned by the real estate company.
But he's allowed the T-Hop customers to park there now. He's opened it up to T-Hop customers, so perhaps maybe he'll open it up for Sunday mornings for Family Resource Center.
I have a question. On the very last statement you made, Matt, you said something about opening it up on Sunday mornings, plural. This is only about one single instance, is it not?
Two, Joe.
Okay. All right. Well, that doesn't really change my opinion, I guess. Is there any other discussion?
Yes, residents can park on the side of Academy Street, can they not, Chief?
They can, and I think where we get concerned is if they're parked on the I guess it would be the northbound side of Academy Street, and we started to allow parking up and down the south side. There's where it would be problematic, but we do allow them to park in front of their houses on the north side. And I think we kind of all agreed the bottom isn't so much the problem, it's when you get past the aqueduct. So I guess if they were able to kind of shut off parking before they got to the aqueduct, I think they'd be okay. But I think the preferred option was parking lots if possible.
Okay, well, we have a motion in a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Constantino.
Yes.
Fogg, no.
What? Is that yes or no?
Peter?
Fogg, no.
Okay. Eric?
Pyra, yes.
Scanlon?
Scanlon, yes.
And mark me down as a yes. So the motion passes. Jeannie, back to you.
Okay, next on my action items, reopening the town buildings. As you know, the governor extended the order to June 15th. What we heard today, he had a press conference, and it sounds like he's going to be opening everything back up. And I wanted to find out from you how you would like to move forward. I have some suggestions. And I'll go through those with you real quick, and then you can tell me what you want to do. So my thought is that next week we should bring back all employees back to a full work schedule. We can talk about whether or not what they're doing in other towns, which is every employee before they come through the door has to do a daily health screening questionnaire. And next week, for that week that we're open with all employees back, still have town hall closed, but have appointment only for anyone who needs to come into town hall. That will give us all of next week to prepare the building for the public. We want to get plexiglass screens for the clerk and the deputy. And I need to have sewer weigh in. If I know sewer's not part of town hall, but we do have an employee upstairs. And thinking that maybe we should have a screen up there as well. I have already talked to the chief about getting some wall-mounted hand sanitizers for the public buildings at every door location. Again, remember these items will be reimbursable. And to consider when we do open up the week of the 22nd, that we make it mandatory that people coming into the building wear a mask. That's what I propose for the town hall, public works. Next week, we just get ourselves ready to open the week after, because we're really not prepared. I looked into purchasing screens, couldn't get them in time. Kevin says he can make them, and I think that's probably going to be the least expensive way for us to move forward. So I don't know what you think about that idea.
Does that include a thorough disinfecting of the building?
Well, that's the other question I was going to bring up. I know that's something you want to do, Joe, but I will tell you, and the chief can chime right in. Tilton, we knock on wood, none of our employees have experienced COVID. We've been very careful. For the most part, everybody's followed the social distancing, wearing the mask, washing their hands, all the things that you're supposed to do. I don't know why we would clean a building that we don't have any exposure. I could see if we had other people from the outside in, but why would we clean it? Because we've been clean, it gets cleaned twice a week now. I'm not sure why we would do a thorough cleaning of the building if no one here has been exposed, but maybe you can tell me something I'm not thinking about.
Is it just me, or do any other selectmen have thoughts on this cleaning of the building?
Joe, I just saw Tilton has 0 active cases, and we're in the 1 to 4 on the historical, so I don't see the need. I agree with Jeannie. Thank you.
Thank you. John?
Yeah, I thoroughly agree with Jeannie that The amount of time these spaces have been empty, we're just, it wouldn't be worthwhile. Kind of, the concern would be after you have a lot of people come through and having those surfaces cleaned.
Okay, Pat.
I feel the same way. I'm good with it.
Okay, Eric.
Yeah, I'm why clean a building that's been empty? But I guess I'll throw it on the table. What about going forward? How often are we going to have to disinfect the building?
Is there a plan in place?
So that's why I would like an extra week of, I attended a webinar where they gave us kind of all the guidelines of what we need to do to prepare for opening the building back up. I think in some cases the towns are larger than ours, and they have what I think are a little over extreme and not necessary for Tilton. For instance, I'm not sure, like Londonderry, they make everyone take their temperature, fill out a questionnaire every morning that they have to hand in before they come through the door, via email. Well, for the most part, town hall has been operating with the exception of a few of our employees who haven't been here every single day, but we've been safe, and everybody, all the employees have understood that if you're feeling sick, you stay home. And the selectmen have been very supportive of that. So like I say, I think it's just important to give us a week to get ready to decide. I'd like, again, to get the employees back together, to get the chief in, to get maybe Catherine to weigh in about how we go forward when we let the public back in.
Okay. My concerns aside, I would say we should do that. And I personally have to do one of those scanning thermometer checks and fill out a health questionnaire when I walk into the restaurants. So I think that's pretty much standard, at least in my experience. So I guess we can go forward with that. Now, my question to you is beyond the town hall. Do you have any recommendations?
So,
Because there's a lot.
yep. So I think I'd let the chief weigh in on how he wants the PD to go forward. DPW, I think, again, let us get the hand sanitizers, let them get through this next week, be part of the conversation about how to be safe going forward with the public. The Tilton Senior Center, Pat brought that up. I have to say I am concerned about that. I did poll other municipal managers across the listserv group that I'm on, asking what towns have opened their senior centers, and no one. I didn't get any. Granted, I didn't get 100 responses in the short time I sent the email out, but every response I did get back, they said they haven't opened up their senior centers because of the population that we know that COVID hits. Having said that, I know that knowing the senior center and the way things are run over there, they probably have a plan, but I guess I would be uncomfortable, at least right now, maybe another week, we've got a plan in place, or maybe they have a plan in place. So we've got the Tilton Senior Center, we've got the highway, the chief talked about, we talked about town hall. Peter brought up Riverfront Park in the bathrooms. So I would guess I'd let Peter as a commissioner and the chief as, with his PD speak to what they feel about their buildings. Peter, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I think the Parks Commissioners are looking toward having it open and just put a warning sign, you're at your own risk. There's soap and water in there so you can clean yourself, but it's not disinfected daily.
Would there be a hand sanitizer inside the restroom?
You got soap, Joe, that last year's there. They don't use it.
And that's actually, the soap is supposed to be better than hand sanitizer.
We've got soap and water, Joe. You got people using the park with swings and all. To me, we might as well open up the bathrooms. Put the
No,
warning
I get
sign,
it.
and those that are worried can go elsewhere.
Yeah, no, I get that. Chief, do you have recommendations?
Sure. So just listening and being on the calls each week, I know that as far as, reopening locations, I haven't heard much discussion about cleaning before the reopening if no one's been in the offices. But when they do identify a case and they trace back where that person was, in let's say the last 72 hours, if it comes back to a particular location like town hall, that's when they would recommend closing and having it, cleaned. I know the ambulance has been getting disinfected with a spray bomb after each transport. They actually put it in there and close it up, and that's how they disinfect the ambulances. As far as the PD goes, we've been doing, all the recommended cleaning precautions. If anyone comes into the building for any reason beyond the lobby, we have them wear a mask, and that seems to work for us so far. And then daily, we're, cleaning all the spots that people touch and the computers, the door handles, all that sort of thing. But as a community, we fared this thing so far pretty well. We've only had a total of 3 cases. We had, back when it started, one woman, she had it for a couple of weeks, recovered, then another female got it. She had it for a week or so, and then a third female. And we've only had 3 in Tilton so far. I think the social distancing and all the precautions paid off for us. But we don't want to get complacent. And of course, we have the fall ahead of us. So I think it would be good if we could, when we get back to having the town hall staff and department head meetings, this would be a great topic that would probably take up one of them for sure.
And that's what I would want to do, is have a go-to meeting with all the department heads, early next week.
Okay.
So, and then I actually think maybe Pat should weigh in on the senior center and give us her thoughts, since she's the over there.
Okay. Well, let's take these places one at a time, because each one of them has things that are particular to that location. I hear the police department is probably doing exactly what we would recommend they do. Let's take the senior center first. All right. Pat, how do you feel about reopening the senior center?
I think that we should wait until community action is on board, and right now community action is not on board with serving the meals. But it also brings up 2 other things. We're really anxious about getting the bus out there and picking up seniors. We could do that safely with doing the 6-foot. We can pick up a couple of seniors at a time, just so that we could get the word out there. And then there's the Wednesday night music group, which Emily, it's a big group, but Emily assures us that she can keep the 6-foot distance and they're anxious to get that. But as far as the regular program goes with the senior center, we're all on board to wait until community action says go with their programs, because they're the main sponsor on our senior center. They supply the 20 hours and the program director and the meals. So if there's no meals, I don't want to open it up.
Okay, Peter?
I'll go with
Peter?
what Pat says.
Okay. I think that I have a tendency to want to follow the CAP's lead on this one as well. They have much more of a finger on the pulse of what these centers actually do and the people going through them and whatnot. As far as the Wednesday night music group goes, I hear you say Emily said they'll keep 6 foot distancing, but that's never been the case any of the times I've gone over there, not even close. And the people that go to the Wednesday night music sessions tend to be older. I go there, and the people that play there, a lot of older residents. And if we can't keep them 6 feet apart, that could be a problem. How about you, Eric?
Is that me?
Yeah.
My biggest concern is the senior. I mean, this the seniors on Wednesday nights. I mean, that's the population that seems to be suffering the most from this COVID, and I worry about the 6 feet.
Okay. John?
Yeah, I can't see how we could make the Wednesday night work without more details on exactly how it would work and do that. I looked at where we're trying to enforce restaurants and that to keep the 6 feet and marking things down and that. I think that if she goes over it and we have our health inspector go and review the plan and weigh in and work on it with her and then produce it to us.
Okay. I don't hear anything clear necessarily. Would somebody like to make a motion?
I don't think a motion is necessary. I think the consensus is that we just wait a while to open up the Wednesday night group. Um, and also we follow the lead on CAP. I think that's an excellent point. We just follow the lead to open up the senior center for programs and meals and follow the lead on CAP. I don't
Mhm.
know, do you feel the same way with the bus being picking up folks and going shopping with them? Or do you feel the same way on that?
John has,
John's got his hand raised.
Oh, see, I don't have that. Here you go, John.
Right, Joe. Yeah. I think that can be done, and keep the people far enough apart. There might be people that need to start getting to doctor's appointments and shopping and things like that. And as long as the person that's the bus driver and you mark out some seats that I think it's very feasible. The standard rules, masks, seats, keep some hand sanitizer on the bus and ask people, are you sick or, the regular questions.
Can Jeannie, the questions that you're going to ask people coming into town hall, can we use those same questions pertaining to the bus? Okay.
Can we get him a thermometer as well? Jeannie?
I actually bought one, so I have one. So
We'll need that for town hall, yes?
well, I guess that's a question. What I'd like to do, again, have a meeting with the department heads. My feeling is our employees are smart enough. They know if they've got a fever. I just don't know that we need to do it. We've been doing this ever since the closed. This building has been open and not one person has gotten sick. It's really up to you if you feel like you take that step. It just feels like, we've been doing this for so long without all this stuff, and we're fine. I don't mean that everybody will get complacent, but I think everybody's cautious enough. We're all, there are some folks who have compromised immune systems or have family members who have compromised immune systems, like myself, that we're being very careful to begin with. So I got the thermometer. We can use it if ultimately we're thinking to do. If we don't, then I'd say Pat can have it for the bus.
Technically, I'm the only driver right now until they get a medical card, but so I have to be extremely careful of who comes onto the bus and who, who rides with us. So I'm going to try to take every precaution possible, including gloves.
Joe,
Peter.
can we look to the new devices? It's like a steamer or whatever. It's like what the fire department's probably using to disinfect the. You can use it on the bus between runs. You can use it in the offices, but it's a way to prevent the spread of the virus.
Can we look into that, Jeannie?
Yeah, I'll talk to the chief. I'm guessing he must know about it. So yeah, I'll look into it.
It's a steamer?
Okay.
I'll
Yeah.
have to check what it is. It's some sort of device along those lines, Pat. It's somehow sterilizing the environment.
I see.
Okay, so we have a consensus that we're going to keep the senior center closed to the daytime programming until such time as CAP issues recommendations to open. We're going to leave the Wednesday night groups on hold for now until they can come up with a plan or we get further guidance, and that we're going to allow for the bus to operate with the safety checklist for the passengers. Now, is that correct, Pat?
Sounds like it. I'm looking for everybody else's yes.
Peter?
I have a question.
Okay, Eric?
Are we going to shoot everyone's temperature as they come onto the bus?
It's not part of my plan, no. Peter?
What, Joe? I'm fine.
Okay, Eric, you have more input?
No,
Eric?
I'm just looking to protect everyone. Just, you know, that's all.
If a thermometer would have become available, I would be all about having them use it, certainly. How about you, John?
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of the thermometer and the mask. They're masked and do that. But
Yep.
yeah, that's it. That's about it. And
That
I'm sure
sounds like
Pat.
we have a consensus on the senior center.
Yeah.
All right,
That
next.
Joe I didn't hear the last. I didn't hear what Joe just said.
I said that I think we have a consensus on the senior center.
To use the thermometer?
If one is available.
Okay.
Okay. Nextly, traveling down the Route 3, I'd like to talk about the island. The island is a town park overseen by the Board of Selectmen. Commencing I want to say the first weekend in July, they're planning to resume the summer concerts. There's a plan for social distancing, limiting the amount of people actually allowed on the park, excluding anyone who chooses not to wear a mask. I do not know if masks would be available to them. Oh my goodness, I forgot my mask, but I will suggest that to Allison. We have at least one porta potty across from Cumberland Farms, or if we don't, I'm thinking that it should be there soon. And I want to know what the selectmen think. And I don't even know if the town of Northfield has been contacted about this. But I want to know what the town of Tilton thinks about resuming the concerts. Pat?
I think if I'm in favor of opening the conference because I really do think that the island that they can maintain their 6 foot distance, and that has been a huge community outpouring. And if we are going to open up for the concert series, we do need 2 porta potties. You remember we had a handicapped one and a regular one, and so that's all I have to say. I'm definitely in favor of opening it up.
Peter?
Unless you only want about 15 or 20 people, I'd suggest you move to Riverfront Park. You got more real estate to spread people out. That island isn't that big.
Well, the organizers seem to understand that. They just want permission. There's been no discussion of Riverfront Park. I don't know what to say. How about you, Eric?
Doesn't the island belong to Northfield? So how can we say what can and cannot go on that?
The island is owned jointly by Northfield and Tilton. And as a consequence, both towns in the past have needed to sign off or agree on things. And Northfield has always agreed with the concerts. In this day and age, I'm not sure what goes on, but I'm looking for something over here that we could take to the selectmen in Northfield.
I like Peter's idea of using Riverfront Park because I don't think you can safely distance with the number of people that they get on that island. I don't think you can safely distance versus where you can on Riverfront Park.
Okay, John?
Provided they follow the social distancing procedures there, I'm good with it.
Okay. I hear what you and Peter, what you and Eric are saying about the crowd sizes on the island. But I have the insurances of the organizers that they would have marked this all out and they would know how many people they could allow on the island. And they're willing to lose some of the crowds. They're not going to just pack them on. That's what I'm told.
Um,
So,
Joe, may I say something? Go ahead.
absolutely, Pat.
In the event that uh, Northfield says absolutely no concerts on the island, we will not be able to have concerts on the island because they have to equally weigh in on the island. So
Yep.
in the event that happens, so in the event that happens, our plan B could be Riverfront Park. But my question to Peter would be, would the park commissioners be uh, okay with that every Sunday night? And what would they have to go through to get that reserved for those evenings? And then would there be a fee incurred with that?
So
Was it
Pat,
complicated?
I can't speak for the full commission, but I can't imagine they would charge a fee. Sunday nights is a light usage. We've had the police use it for movies in the park. They're trying to do one in July and one August, and we've given them the tentative go depending on what the situation is at that point in time. So I don't see where the Parks Commission would be against letting the concerts move there for this season.
So is the movie in the park on a Sunday night or is it on a Saturday?
It's either a Friday or Saturday, Pat. It's not a Sunday.
So it wouldn't conflict.
No.
Okay. My suggestion would be to go with the concert and allow them the 6 foot distance, and then if Northfield ask Northfield, or if Northfield says no, petition the Parks Commission to use it over at Riverfront.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
We
Scanlon.
have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Constantino.
Constantino, yes.
Fog, yes.
Jessamine, yes. Ira.
Ira, yes.
Scanlon.
Scanlon, yes.
Okay, the concerts are a go. with the restrictions. I would also suggest that we contract for the second porta potty, so that we have the regular one and the handicapped one. Not that that's irregular, but that we have both sets over there.
Okay,
Mr.
so,
Okay, Jeannie?
so I will check in with Northfield to see where they are on this. And if they say no, then I will let Peter know and he can bring it to the Riverfront. Actually, I guess we need to go back to Allison and see if they're even amenable to Riverfront.
I'll be in touch with Allison.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, we do seem to have someone from the public on the line.
Excellent. Is there any comments from the public?
I think that's the chief. And then the other one's Leanne.
Oh, okay. Didn't know.
Just one more thing on the island. If we probably would only still need the one porta potty if they don't have the island concert series.
Okay.
That's true.
There's one other thing on the, if you use Riverfront, aren't you limited to, for food, Peter? I mean, they do, what, hamburgers and hot dogs or something, Joe, that you do? And I think that they're limited. What's the ruling on that now for Riverfront?
We've had some cookouts down there around the pavilion.
I actually did one myself for the wildlife encounters, Peter.
Oh, all set.
Okay, so we're set to go with the island. How about the benches downtown? Does anybody object to putting the benches back out?
Can you shrink them to single seats so you can social distance, Joe?
We'll put out lawn chairs. No,
Let's do it.
I think we have a consensus to put the benches back out on Main Street.
Get her done.
Okay, that's without objection. Jeannie, would you inform Kevin?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. The next public building is the Public Works Department. Well, no, it's Riverfront Park, and opening up the pavilion, the bathrooms in the pavilion specifically. And I would be all in favor of opening up the bathrooms in the pavilion under the guidance and direction of the Parks Department. I would like to see a hand sanitizer in there somewhere, which the chief might be able to get us a dispenser. But I would be all in favor of opening up the bathrooms. Is there anybody that would like to talk about this?
Are you going to allow the Parks Commission to also open up the kitchen area for those that want to have gatherings, Joe?
Peter, I didn't realize that the selectmen were in charge of opening up the kitchen.
Well, I'm just
The
making
Parks
sure when
Department has always done it in the past. But I would be in favor of taking the Parks Commission's recommendations, and if they're in favor of opening up the kitchen, then I would certainly be in favor of opening up the kitchen as well.
Okay, thank you.
How about you, Eric?
Yes, I would be in favor of that as well.
John?
Same thing. I agree.
Okay, the park is open. The next place is the Department of Public Works. Jeannie, does Kevin have any recommendations going forward about this? Or do you?
No, I think, he's got this week and next week for the amnesty. And I would put him in the same boat as Town Hall. Let's get a plan together for next week about what they're going to do over there, whether they're going to, exchange cash or how they're going to move forward. And then come back to
Okay. So I'm in favor of that. Anybody else?
Joe, can I go back to parks for 1 second?
Absolutely, Peter.
Is the Parks Commission allowed to expend monies to have the cleaners come in and do their cleaning like they've done in the past, since everything's been put on hold?
I would say that's been budgeted to the Parks Department, and the building is now open.
Well, yeah, but we were trying to cut any unnecessary spending, and I'm trying to determine, is this going to be considered necessary or not?
I think it's got to be necessary.
It's necessary. Every week during this time period. It's done every week, correct?
Yeah, they come in like 3 times a week, 2 or 3 times. Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
My proposal on that would be that we allow the Parks Department to go forward and clean the building on its regular schedule. Is there any objections?
Not here.
Eric?
Nope.
John?
Good.
There you go, Peter.
Thank you.
All right. And we're all set with Public Works as well, correct? I think we're all on board with that.
I had one question. Are we
Yes.
clarifying? Are we clarifying the date that this goes into effect?
It would be the Monday following the 15th.
Okay.
22nd, yeah.
Okay. So there are no other that I can think of town facilities that we have closed or restricted since the governor's orders first came out. So I'd say we're open for business completely on the 22nd, and we have marching orders on the other buildings and facilities. So I think we're back to you, Jeannie.
Okay, so let's talk about the selectmen's meetings going forward. For next week, we look for another virtual meeting. If we're back open on the 22nd, do you want to start going back to regular selectmen's meetings on the 25th? I understand that the governor's lifting the 10-person limit, and he's not replacing it with anything else, but we can set guidelines if people are coming into the building for the selectmen's meeting, doing this, 6-foot social distancing, requiring them to wear masks, that sort of thing. But I would envision that's how we'd go forward with the selectmen's meeting. I've also been reading on the listserv that a lot of communities have seen an uptick in participation because people can participate virtually. So it's something to consider for this board if you want to, going forward, make your meetings available virtually for people who want to participate but don't want to come into town hall. It's not something you have to make a decision on tonight. I just wanted to put it out there.
Okay.
If we open the meetings if we go to the meetings on the 25th at the town hall, are we required to sit there for 4 or 5 hours for our selectmen's meeting with a mask on? If so, then I vote for a virtual meeting.
I would say yes, unless you want a 6-foot distance, well, you still should have the mask on.
I'll be really glad to be done with these virtual meetings. I'll tell you. Even if we continue like live streaming the meeting, maybe Tim could investigate a live stream because we have a camera on us anyway. We might be able to live stream that meeting.
Yes.
And do away with the go-to-meeting format. You could just watch it on the TV. Except for we could run it on the website. Okay.
So at this point, you all agree that at least for next week, we will meet virtually, and then we can decide at next week's meeting how you want to move forward. No, Peter?
I'm a yes.
No, I'm a no.
No to what?
How about you, Pat?
I want to open as soon as we can, but that's just me. I look at the data, sorry.
Okay, Pat?
I'm okay with waiting for another week and let the town hall people get settled in and get some normalcy back and then go in.
And Peter, you just flat out no, or
We should open up, period.
you want to go right now? How about
Yeah,
you, Eric?
We've had 2 months to prepare. Let's open up.
Okay. How about you, John?
Yeah, I think I'm ready to open up. One of the things I'm concerned about is we're probably going to have a different arrangement for the table for 6 feet, maybe make a horseshoe shape and or something. But if necessary, put it off one more week so we can make that particular arrangement to have it safe.
If you make that arrangement, it's going to be changing all of the wiring and everything for the microphones. That's a big task. Just saying.
We have to be 6 feet, so.
So just,
Looks like we're going to be in a horseshoe no matter what. Huh?
so just for clarification, are you saying when I heard some say we want to open up right now, are you saying open up town hall right now or just open up the selectmen?
Selectmen's meeting.
We're
Selectmen
talking
meeting.
selectmen's meeting.
selectmen.
Okay.
I want a real meeting.
Me both, buddy. So we have a consensus that we want to open the town hall for the selectmen's meeting next week. Objection.
I'd like to wait a week on the Jeannie's recommendation.
Okay, we have 4 yeses and a no. So we open up next Thursday night.
Well, I don't think I was a yes. I said that
I
if
thought you
we
were a
can,
yes, John.
no, I said if we can set it up for 6 feet, if not, put off another week. This is a lot for them to get set up real quick with getting town hall set up. I'd like to make sure that we have the 6 foot distancing. If it takes an additional week to do it properly, I'd like the additional week. So that's, can it be done
That's a
in
lot,
1 week?
Reggie.
Well, are you asking me, can we have it ready for next Thursday?
That's correct.
Well, it's going to require DPW help, and it just means something else will get pushed off. Somebody said we had 2 months to get ready to open up. Well, no, we really didn't, because we didn't know what would happen. So I don't know who said that, but it's not like we've been sitting around for 2 months doing nothing on this. I think that if you really want it to happen next Thursday, we'll make it happen, and we'll pull them off other projects, painting, the crosswalks, other things that they're doing to get this done. Well, I imagine Tim will need to be involved, wiring, but that's what you want.
You know what? I can fix this real easy. I changed my vote to no.
I'm going to make a
Vote is
motion that we hold off 1 week for one additional week to allow town hall to get ready.
I'll second that. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
I say we stay virtual forever because we're living in the what if scenario.
Okay. We can discuss further virtual meetings next week at our virtual meeting.
You'd have to recommend a divorce lawyer.
Yeah. Roll call vote. Constantino.
Yes.
Vote.
Present.
I'm a yes. Eric?
No.
John?
Yes.
Okay. The motion passes. We're tentatively scheduled for the 25th of June at Town Hall. Okay, back to you, Jeannie.
Thank you, Joe. I'm pretty much done with my report. I just have one other question for you. Since you, and I sent you all an email on this. I don't know if you got it because it went out late, but the Tilton Island concert, it sounds like you said yes to move forward on this, but I just want to point out that last week you voted no for us to go forward with the summer concert, or excuse me, the summer fair. Summer fair actually probably less of an issue than concerts, because summer fair people are walking versus congregating during, which is the way it was explained to me with Public Health Bureau. Their biggest concern is congregating, people stopping and talking. And they're going to do that with summer fair, but they're going to do that as well with the concert. So I just bring that back to you because I imagine I'll hear something back from folks who really wanted to go forward with the summer fair, and you all said, no, we're not going to do a summer fair this year.
My understanding was it was the recommendation of the 150th committee not to have the summer fair, and we said not to have the summer fair.
No, it was not. If I led you to believe that, my apologies, because that's not something, I believe that they want it. And Leanne, you're on the committee, so you're here. I don't know if you're right at your microphone. Leanne? Leanne, I see you unmiked yourself. Huh. All right, well, in any event, I believe, are you there, Leanne? I can't hear her.
I don't hear it.
Yeah. So I believe, I can go back and check, but I believe that they wanted to do the summer fair.
Can we get an itinerary of what they planned?
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with it. Yeah, I don't have an issue with it.
I still don't want to do the summer fair. Trying to enforce a 6-foot rule, trying to enforce mask wearing. I don't think it's a good idea. I think the concerts on the park is a different situation. You can limit the number of people that get to attend, and you can require the use of masks. You can mark out the 6-foot spaces, even if you have to limit the number of people that are allowed on the island. I see them as two different things. My opinion about summer fair doesn't change.
Okay.
I think if you had it if you had it in August, I think there's going to be a lot of situations in New Hampshire changing then. And I think that it would be really important to have something positive in our world right now.
Well, I don't know who said it, if it was Peter or John. Somebody said, can I come back with a plan? And I can go back to the committee and ask that question.
Yeah, that would be great. Please do.
I'd be willing to listen to a plan.
Yeah.
All right, I'll do that. That was it for me.
Okay, is there anybody from the public in attendance that would like to ask a question or make a statement or a comment? Tell a funny joke. We could use the humor. Well, hearing none, and the time being 6:30, right on the nose, I'd like to make a motion to move into non-public session for RSA 91-A:3, paragraph 2A, dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee, or the disciplining of such employee, or the investigation of any charges against them. Do I have a second?
Constantino, second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Constantino.
Constantino, yes.
Fogg, yes.
See, you jumped in. I was going to go with John that time. I'm a yes. How about you, Eric?
Pyra, yes.
John?
Scanlon, yes.
Okay. I remind the selectmen that we'll be meeting in 10 minutes at the town hall. Thank you very much. And
This conference will now be recorded.
Chesterman, yes.
Hey,
Pyra?
Joe,
Pyra, yes.
can
Joe,
you
Scanlon.
back up a little?
Scanlon, yes, hold on, Joe.
Okay.
Can you back up a little? Because I didn't record it and I just want to record the, adjournment.
I'll say it again anytime you're ready.
Go ahead.
Okay. I make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
No,
No, Joe.
seal the minutes.
Oh, you didn't get any of it. All right. I make a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public session as it pertains to personnel issues permanently. Is there a second?
Second,
We have a
Scanlon.
motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Constantino.
Constantino, yes.
Fogg. I think Peter might have bolted. He thought we were done. Jessamine is a
Previously
yes.
voted yes.
Pyra.
Pyra, yes.
Scanlon.
Scanlon, yes.
The motion passes. Is there any other business to come before the Board of Selectmen this evening? Hearing none. Motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a
Constantino.
motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Roll
Constantino,
call
yes.
vote. Fogg. Jessamine, yes. Pyra.
Pyra, yes.
Scanlon,
Scanlon?
yes.
We stand adjourned. Thank you very much.